What are you? What are you doing? Stop dancing.
By the way, I should probably say I'm in my pajamas right now.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. At least you have pants on, I think. You have
I
pajamas?
do.
Okay.
I have the matching pants.
Okay, good. What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Bells. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by the amazing, the wonderful Holly. What's up, Holly?
Hello. Yo, it's me.
Holly, we got a guest this week.
We do!
And people don't know her as YouTuber or any of that, but they do know her. They just may not realize it. She comes to my streams on occasion. She's in my Discord. Are you in Holly's Discord too?
I didn't
Actually,
know.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you don't.
But
It's all right. You don't need to be
new
in that
subscriber though.
No, you don't. You're better off. You're better off staying away from that trouble over there.
Oi!
There's a lot of
yeah,
crazies
loads
over
of
there. A
rascals
lot of
in mine.
crazies. Marina right now is downvoting, and then she realizes, oh wait, this is on Holly's channel. I can't do that. She's gonna come tomorrow to mine and start downvoting. But Lockleth is here, and this is pretty awesome. So let me explain a little bit, just because it's the first show for the week. You had done a previous podcast, and you had sent me a sample because I guess you wanted to do another podcast, and you wanted to and you were like, hey, if you ever need a guest,
I love it.
I'm just throwing my name out there and throwing my hat into the ring. And I was like, okay, I got you. Let me listen. And I listened. I was like, okay, the sound quality's there, so I don't have to worry about that stuff. Because that's always the biggest fear when someone reaches out to you. It's like, well, do you have the equipment? Can you do it? Can you not? And you're like, oh, I do meetings all the time for work. And it's like, okay, let's give this a shot.
Yeah.
So,
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So, real quickly, though, do you want to give a little plug to the podcast that you were on and kind of a little bit real quick before we dive in?
Yeah. So I kind of did the same thing with that podcast as well. So it's called Tiny Island Diary, and you can find it. I listened to it on Apple Podcasts, but I think she has it on Spotify as well. Her name's Antoinette, and I've been listening to her for, I think she's on her 10th episode now. She just, she started playing Animal Crossing, and she just decided that she wanted to do a podcast for it. So I started listening, I think the third episode, and then I kind of went back and started listening to all of them. But she also had Ryan FTW on there too, which is kind of how I was linked to her. Yeah. And then I kind of threw my name out there saying, hey, if you ever need a guest.
I love it.
I've never done this before, but hey,
so be honest.
Throw my name out there.
So be honest. Who's better, me or her?
Oh, Bobby.
It's okay.
It's like apples and shrimp. Like, it's completely different.
Well, which is your favorite, apples or shrimp?
I mean, I like both.
You know what, Holly? What's your topic? We're getting out of this one.
Okay, so my topic for today is tips on how to easily transition your island from season to season. So not necessarily just sort of summer to autumn or fall, but just some general tips. So yeah, I don't know if you have any that spring to mind in particular.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious one is the Halloween stuff, right? So the Halloween stuff shows up, and it's like, what do you do with this stuff? So basically, what I did was I started with a small item. I started with the jack-o'-lantern, but I guess it's the spooky lantern or light or something like that. Yeah. And then what I was like, okay, let me go replace all of my. On top of my barrels, I had candles and different things. I was like, let me replace them with these, right? So I started dropping those around. And then I was like, okay, this looks good. We can add another dimension to it now. And then I found the two jack-o'-lanterns next to the hay bale. And I was like, we're not going to put them all over, but we're going to grab a couple, maybe like 4, and put them out in front of villagers' houses.
Yeah.
Just like people typically around here, that's what they do. They decorate. They put a hay bale with a scarecrow and like a couple pumpkins on it and stuff. I guess that's supposed to be festive Halloween, fall stuff, whatever. Corn stalks or whatever they put up. And then But what I did was, when I did that, I was like, okay, that's step one. But step two would be, I'm going to put something on top of the hay bale and different in front of each house. So that way it feels like the villager kind of did what everybody does, but also made it their own. And that's, I mean, I think that's the way you should essentially do it. Like, little,
but often.
Yes. Yes. So that way your overall theme stays what it's supposed to be, but you're just putting a little splash of color in there to like mix it up, you know. What about you, Locke? What do you got?
Well, my whole island is cottagecore, so it was an easy transition for me, but I threw those jack-o'-lanterns all over the place. Like, at night, it's just glows orangey red, and it's just so pretty. I just love Halloween in general, so this was an easy transition for me. I probably used every item twice, if not more than that. Like the arches, I probably have like 4 or 5 of those all over the place.
Really? Wow. Oh my God, that's a lot. They're a real statement as well.
Oh yeah. I just love everything about the season, so I was really excited for the Halloween items for sure.
What about you, Holly? What changes did you make to make it feel very, or whatever, like whatever you go through?
So the main one that I want to talk about is with the path, and we've mentioned this before, with how there's so many different versions of the path now, and I think a really easy way to transition from like a summer vibe to a more Halloweeny autumn vibe is to, when you there's loads of amazing the paths now, so there's so many autumn ones. But if you literally just get the custom design and replace it like 1-to-1, so if you've got a corner of the path, replace it with a corner of a different path, because then that way you're not going to like screw yourself over by having white tiles everywhere or bits all like janky and everything, which I think for the most part people know that, but I just feel there's going to be someone out there that's like, oh my God, I did not think to do that.
There's definitely there's definitely newbies out there that might not realize that. They might go, hey, I just need to download a new path. They download it and they go out there and they're like, oh my God, what happened to my path? You know?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And then another one that I actually found kind of interesting, and I love the bushes. I really, really do, but it's so annoying when you put bushes down and then they're no longer in bloom. To be honest, I like it when they are and aren't. I think they look nice. I guess especially in like a cottagecore environment, just having like a naked like hibiscus or something like is really useful, because it just looks like a bush. So I was looking at kind of when these sorts of things are in season, and to minimize how often you kind of change them out if that's what you want to do, so that you've always got something in bloom. In the northern hemisphere, the camellia and the hibiscus has one of the longest blooming times. So January 1st to March 31st is when the camellia is all good, and the hibiscus is July 21st to September the 20th. That's just northern hemisphere. But you can probably kind of work it out ish with southern.
The problem with me for that is this time of year there's nothing really. I mean, they have the olive ones, but they're just
I love the olive ones.
I hate them.
I love
really
them.
You don't like them?
I hate them.
I love them. It's orange and yellow. It goes with the fall theme.
I get that, but the flower is so weak looking.
They look like coral. They look like pieces of coral to me. It looks kind of like seaweed, but I do kind of like it. But those two are the two that seem to have the longest bloom time, and whereas a lot of the others are like a month. So it might be something to consider if you're someone that you want to have the effect of the changing seasons, but don't want to spend time doing it every month.
Makes sense. But I think the other thing too is I went back and I watched, like, I think it all depends on too, like, I think you should try to add some random pieces. One thing that I saw, I went and I watched the Bit Block, Josh Thomas. I watched his video on his tour, and the one thing he did that I thought was really ingenious was he created a candy bag that was laying on the ground. Yeah. So I think if you think in terms of that, like, let me find something sporadic to drop somewhere to give the feel, or the theme of what you're doing, you can do that. Those pillows are just amazing. They can do some
Oh, they're
amazing stuff.
so versatile.
Yeah, so if you can even think in terms of that, like, because people use it like, hey, I need seed, so we put seed down.
Yes.
You can use it like bird seed. Like, I've seen people do bird seeds and put it next to a birdhouse. And so there's different things so there's different things you can do. And I think that what you should do is think, like, in terms of, okay, what's this season holding? You know, because, like, look, if it's you know, why not get a bag of charcoal and put it next to the fireplace? You know, and then lay that out there, and then, like, during the spring or the summer, there's that feel. You know, so there's things you can do, I think, to decorate, to just add a little touch of, because I think that's what adds personality to the islands. When you have cottagecore and everybody's doing it, I think you need to do something that stands out to make people go, like, I remember that island for this. Yeah. You know, because to be fair, I could go to a cottagecore island and overall, they all overall feel very similar in feel and style. Some, but when I feel like when you find the ones that are decorated with a little bit of personality to it, that's what makes it different.
Yeah, like that's you with your pumpkins, like just putting those everywhere, like that adds like flair.
Yeah.
I think the depth and stuff of them too.
Yes.
The different heights. I always try to stick with that different height system, and then putting a smaller jack-o'-lantern and the big tall tower one behind it.
Yes.
It adds some more depth to the island.
Absolutely.
And I do the same thing with the path, where I went over mine with like
you
a
just like replace
one.
it.
And then the same with, like, I have a leaf custom design that was green leaves, and now it's like orange and red leaves that you see.
Yeah.
So those were easy transitions for me.
Yeah. I think the only other that I have, which is kind of dependent on what you're trying to achieve in terms of, like, design on your island, but if you've got certain, like, statement pieces, you know, if they are customizable, or say you've got a lighthouse and, you know, you could get a different color lighthouse, you know, for example, when it's winter and it's really snowy, you might want to have less orangey wood kind of tones. You might want to have more like dark wood, so just grab a bunch of stuff, customize it, chuck it back out. Like, that's another thing that you could do to kind of make it like fit the theme a little bit more. For sure, because it's difficult. The seasons, I mean, oh my god, I was time traveling to get a villager out, and I ended up in November, and everything was so red, it honestly hurt my eyes. It was so red, like over the top red, and none of my stuff looked right. So I was just like, right, I'm gonna have to revisit this. I'll remember this.
The trees, people don't think about the trees too. Like I had I had mainly only cedar trees. And then I realized that the other trees, like the fruit trees and all that, they changed to those oranges and those reds.
Yeah.
I replaced a lot of my cedar trees
with those,
so that I would have more of that fall color. And then when it gets closer to winter, I'll do back to the cedar trees probably.
But
I love the cedar
in the winter, you're going to want to, because especially during Christmas time, because they get lights on them and stuff. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, I can't wait.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, hit the like button down below, share it with your friends, all that good stuff. For now, remember, Monday, Wednesday, Holly's channel. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday this week will be on my channel. That is all. Peace out, Preston.
Bye.